Welcome to Power Boat Talk, the podcast where we talk everything performance boats with your host, Joe Road.
Hello, welcome to Power Boat Talk. This episode is brought to you by BoatLoanGuy.com and owner Scott Angle. Scott will do his best to make your boat or RV purchase as quick and as stress-free as possible. Scott offers loans for as low as $20,000 and up to $5 million, which should be enough to take care of the boat of your dreams. He offers loans for as long as 20 years, and oftentimes he'll give you a same-day approval on no-doc loans. Scott guarantees the best rates in the industry. Follow Scott on Instagram and Facebook at RV and Boat Loans, or go to BoatLoanGuy.com for more information or to fill out an application. This episode is brought to you by SoCal Jet Boats with owners Brad and Brittany Martin. I had the pleasure of having Brad on episode 28 of Powerboat Talk, so go check that out. SoCal Jet Boats was one of the original online forums and is still a great resource for all kinds of performance boat info. SoCal Jet Boats also has an online store that has a fantastic selection of hot boat apparel and a full line of jet pump parts and accessories. SoCal Jet Boats is also a great supporter of boat racing out here on the West Coast, and you can find them at most ADBA and NJBA drag boat races and the Southern California Speedboat Club Circle Boat races. You can also find them on one of the stops on their California River Summer Tour, which is going on now. Follow SoCal Jet Boats on Instagram and Facebook, or go to SoCalJetBoats.com for more information. Today, I have Gordy Jennings, the king of K-Boats, on today. And Gordy, thanks for coming on, man. It's pretty cool. I've been trying to get you on for a while, and man, honored that I got you to sit down. Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been a little busy and then kind of hesitant, and my wife pushed me into it, to be honest with you.
Well, I'll tell you, everybody, and I was telling her today, I had Jerry Gilbert on, and he didn't want to come on, and then he talked for an hour and a half, and he's texted me 3 times and told me how much he enjoyed it, and he wants to come on again. So everybody, it'll be fun. Just a chat, just guys in the garage. Don't worry about it, man. So what do you got behind you there?
Behind me is my the K-Boat Freedom that I raced. It's just sitting here in the garage, ready to go. I actually put an extra seat in it so I can give some of my friends a ride when I ever get time to work on my own boat.
Nice. How long have you had that?
Well, I raced it from 89 to 91, and then Richard had it for a while. And then when Richard died, my brother-in-law Lance bought it, and about, it might have been 97 or 98, and he had it till 2001. And when he got killed, I bought it from his wife Melanie. Me and Katie did. And I've had it since 2001. So
nice. And I mean, you've had it out. Is it ready to go?
I've had it out a few times. I raced in Long Beach 2011 and won the national championships.
Wow, nice.
And, I've had it out Billy B's a couple times, and Irvine Lake 3 or 4 times. I went out there and won the little trophy, the Irvine Lake Trophy, a couple of years in a row. So
nice.
It's a really good boat.
2011, is that the last time you raced?
Yeah.
No, nice. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And then you just got back from the circle races of Burley. So how'd that go?
It went really good and really bad. We won both heats on Saturday, and when we tested, the tune-up looked really good and everything, and then we'd only run like a lap testing, and then when we'd go 2.5 to 3 laps, we came in, the motor looked really lean. So, I raced in 10,000s for Sunday or Saturday's final. We went on one Saturday's final, came back, the thing's still really lean. So I richened up some more for Sunday morning. We tested, we went a lap. Everything looked perfect. It's about 2.5 laps in. We had to start on the outside that time. So we had a little advantage on the inside, but we still ran away from everybody. And then the other guys are still, Burley's a really hard place to get your boat tuned up right. And I think we just hit a little quicker than them. And then on Sunday, we got around Ty, moved into second, and we were hunting on Duff, but he's a tough character, him and Mike Stock. So it blew a head gasket on second lap down the back straightaway. He felt it a little bit, but he just kept driving, and we finished second, and we came and noticed it, and so we got it home, tried to figure out what happened. Well, the fuel line was kinked under the fuel tank.
Oh wow!
So when it got to about a second lap, it didn't have enough fuel, and the vent wasn't big enough to draw the fuel. So we got all that fixed already, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, that's cool. But you didn't hurt it that bad then?
Not that bad. A little welding on the head, and I'm just gonna take it completely apart and check everything and make sure it's perfect and put it back together.
How do you keep your sanity tuning those things? Because I mean, they're just beasts, and especially at
It's
Burley where it's right, it's
it
the
really it
altitude.
really is. It's not an easy thing. People they really don't understand the power that these boats that Mike and Duff created this boat and it to be a safer boat, and it is safer. But to be honest with you, I don't think we've found the capability of how much power we can put in those things.
Really?
And I know we're putting over 2,000 horsepower right now. To make them go 3, 4 laps, 4 or 5 heats in a weekend, it's not an easy task. Everything's got to be just right. You got one thing that goes wrong and you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, and there's a perfect example, right? I mean, Buckles, that crew is top notch, right? Like nothing
yeah,
nothing goes
the
unturned,
guys,
right?
the guys, and Cory, for I don't call him a kid, but he's 40 years old. Kid to me, but he is he's incredible. He wants to learn so bad, and he wants. I mean, all the drivers want to win, but to this kid, he really wants it. And he studies
Yeah.
tapes and he listens and he learns. And he's there's drivers you can tell stuff that say this is how you do it and this is what you should do. And some guys will just do it and they'll figure it out. And some guys are just afraid to do it and they'll never do it. So, but he's one of those kids that he's really good.
Yeah.
I put him I put him up against Ty and Duff all day long.
That's nice. Yeah, good. I had him on the podcast. Yeah, what a good dude. Really
Yeah, I
nice
watched
guy.
that.
But yeah, I went down last year. I hung out at the races for a day with Duff and Mike, and yes, that's the thing I think about. It's like a bad result is a really bad result. I mean, it can be really expensive, man.
Yeah, that's what happens with these things. There's nothing. There's so much power. We're running so much boost, and when something happens, it just and then alcohol is worse than gasoline because once alcohol detonates and stuff, it's just like a time bomb. It just
Oh, really?
destroys everything. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
twice as bad as gasoline.
Wow.
So yeah, I kind of blame Mike Stock for this whole thing because him and Duff built these boats, and now we're into this mess together. But uh, without Mike, we wouldn't even, none of us would even really be here. He's such a top notch guy, and he helps all the teams with his boats and anybody at the racetrack really. But one for him, we wouldn't be doing side by side battle with him. He loans us props. He sets our plates for us because the bottom's a little bit different. But he's really a top notch guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was one thing I talked about too. I was out there. It's the K-boat guys. It's like one team. I mean, you're all hopping on each other's boats and
Yeah, you got to help each other. I mean, there's only 4 of us right now, and the 55 guys are struggling a little bit, but they don't have as much money as the other 3 teams, so it makes it difficult. It's a very expensive boat. I mean, just to build one of those boats with an engine complete, your trailer and everything, you're probably about $250,000. So not cheap if you want to run them front.
Right. Oh, it's cool. But again, man, I admire your temperament to be able to do that, man. It's gotta be hard.
Have patience. Yeah. Not worry about what Mike's doing because he'll just step on the gas.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. Well, at least you had some fun. Everybody came home safe, and that's cool.
Yeah, it was an awesome weekend. I love boat racing. I've been boat racing all my life, and I don't know. People probably think I'm crazy sometimes, but I love all kinds of racing. I love watching Supercross and motocross on the weekends, the drag races. I get to go to Pomona twice a year. Lucky enough to go up in Randy's booth.
Oh, cool.
Twice a year, and he lets me invite some friends and stuff. It's really cool. I just love all aspects of racing. I don't know, I just love racing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Doing it all my life. I raced dirt bikes when I was younger. Me and my friend Greg Foster just passed last year.
Oh, yeah.
We raced dirt bikes together when we were like 16, 17 years old. And then we built an e-racing runabout when they had E's and SKs and super stocks and pro stocks back in the day. We built a Baron Sprint out of Tommy Baron Marine. And my stepdad, Paul, built the motor. And, we went on to set a kilo record in that 120 back in 1980.
Wow, no kidding.
Well, E-boat. So on the same day, Greg set the kilo record in the E, and I set the kilo record in the super stock in 115 back in 1980.
Wow.
So, I mean, I've worked for Paul, my stepdad. I worked for him for 36 years.
Wow.
And then he was, I think, about 77 then, and just had enough. And I could have taken over the shop, but I just didn't want to. It's at a time and age that, building engines and the responsibility, and everybody always pointing their finger at you when something goes wrong, and it just wasn't worth it. So I got lucky enough to get a job at TRD, Toyota Racing Development.
Okay.
As a dyno technician, all I do is dyno the NASCAR engines all day long.
Oh my gosh, I knew you worked at TRD. I didn't know what you did. Yeah. Seriously?
I do. We
No
got
way.
Joe Gibbs's team, the 2311 team, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan's, and now we got Jimmy Johnson's team, Legacy Motors. They're struggling a little bit, but they're new, so they'll get there in a couple of years. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got 8 cars now, so that
Wow.
makes it easier. But yeah, so all I do that and maintain the dyno and run those. I still kind of a shock to me sometimes.
I
Thinking,
was going to say, like,
that's the
you had to
car,
be,
that's the motor I got out there in the car that I had on the dyno a
yeah,
couple weeks ago. So
yeah. God, you had to be pinching yourself that you got that
oh
opportunity.
yeah,
That's
I
unbelievable.
still sometimes think about it.
Uh-huh.
Like, wow, this car is going to be over there, and Martin Truex or Denny's or Christopher Bell's car, and there we go, Kyle Busch. I got. I should have brought him out here and showed you, but I got when Truex won the championship in 17, and Kyle Busch won the championship in 19. They gave us championship rings.
Oh, nice.
It's got my name on it.
Wow.
Everything's really cool. Really nice rings. And plus, we got when Denny Hamlin won the Daytona 500, we got Daytona 500 rings. They're really cool.
Nice.
That's all fun.
So
I was racing back then, and then racing a little bit, and then I raced sprint cars for a little while too. Did that up when the Ascot was still around for the Knopf Singers, only because we were building motors for a lot of engines for guys at sprint cars and stuff like that, and then just got back into boat racing. And I don't know, probably 85, I was driving a couple super stocks here and there, and then Bob Long offered me my first cable ride in 87, and raced for him for about a year and a half, I think. Then I drove for Bill Moore for a couple of years, and then Richard offered me the ride in this Freedom boat in 89. And so I took that and raced that till 91. And then we got a hydroplane, Grand Prix hydroplane for a little while.
Did you?
Yeah. I crashed that in Valleyfield. And I was kind of into that. And Richard his business was business that everybody was struggling at that time. So we just kind of took a break. And then Chuck Boyd hired me to drive Hobbit. And I drove that for 3 years. And until I crashed, got my accident, and then that's when I kind of quit that for a while. That was in 95. And then I raced offshore boats for a couple of years for IMCO.
Oh, you're in that? What was that, a single engine boat they had?
Single engine, A boat.
Okay.
They had 2 of them. We drove, me and a guy named Jimmy Van Dyke, who worked at Foss building engines. We drove, I throttled it and he steered. We raced it for 1 year. That was a lot of fun. And I raced one offshore boat for Dan Archer for a couple races, B class. Went out there and smoked Bob Teague. He didn't like that. But it was all fun. Bob Teague's a great guy, though. That guy's, talk about a guy that lives and breathes doing what he does.
Yeah.
But, he's a great guy.
He's a machine, man. Trying to keep up with him at his age, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to be a machine. I want to come home and go on my mountain bike and go mountain bike riding, my dirt bike and my razor and goof off. So I'm getting close to retirement. In fact, we're going to Utah in a couple months. I'm going to go check out some houses and look around and see what the cost is and see where I'm at. And I'm 64 now, so I don't want to work much longer.
Yeah. And you're kind of doing double duty, right? I mean, the K-boat thing, obviously it's not a full part-time thing, but it's
no, it is. And it makes it hard because luckily, Joe Baca, who owns Pfaff Engines and Baca Marine up there in Huntington Beach, same spot still. He lets me use the shop whenever I want and use machinery and everything. It's really a great opportunity for me to be able to use it, because it makes it easier for me because I just go up there. It takes me half an hour to get there from TRD. It's farther away from home, but on the weekdays, I can only get a couple hours in because they leave at 5 and they let me leave. And then Saturdays, I'll go down there. They'll leave me a key and, let me in. I can work there 4 or 5 hours by myself, but I can get a lot done. It helps out. That way I don't have to charge very much. And I like doing it. As long as it doesn't cost me nothing, I like doing it, so help people out and, keep people racing. That's what it's about.
Right. Wow, cool. Yeah, I didn't realize you were in that IMCO boat. I kind of barely remember that IMCO boat. It was like a couple of years, I think, right?
We raced in Ventura. We raced in St. Pete, I think, at the Worlds.
Oh, wow.
We got 3rd overall. We were just kind of learning still, but we ran up front for a couple laps.
Nice.
But we were right there with with Norm Teague, and I forget the other guy's name, but that was a lot of fun. That's when we were building motors for Ocean Spray.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They were dominating all the time, and then we actually, not to brag or nothing, but Pfaff Engines have probably held more records and won more championships than any other engine builder that I can think of. Because when we were Circle in E, SK, Super Stock, Pro Stock, K, we had all the Keel records. We had most of the competition records. The GN, Bill Simpson GN held most of the records.
Oh, okay. That
And
was your
then,
motor in the what he
oh
would
yeah,
he go
Double
like
Foods.
what did he 121 or something like that or
We went
yeah
29 one way, and then
nice
just
wow
it's hard. Those boats ain't really made to go that fast.
yeah
But yeah, and that was what, like back in
long time
1980
ago
something,
yeah
1990. Yeah. So, and it's like my real dad. Think about this. In 1972, he went 144 miles an hour in a Sanger, in a kilo.
insane
The record today is only, well, I went 146 in 1989, set the kilo record. And then Duff went 147 a couple years later. And then he went, I think it's 140 now in Michael Stock's boat. But those boats will easily, and I'm not kidding when I say this, they could go 160 in a kilo, no problem.
really
It's crazy how fast they could be.
yeah did you guys ever talk about doing something like that anybody
That's top secret, but yeah, we're going to do it.
okay cool
And I don't keep, me and Michael, he's one of my, he is my best friend. One of my best friends.
oh nice
You only got 2 or 3 best friends, right? We tell each other everything. If I'm going somewhere, my team says, we're going to go do the secret light. I go, no, we're not. I tell Michael we're going. If he wants to go and battle us, that's what we're going to do, because that's
yeah
what,
nice
I'm not trying to sneak anything on anybody or do anything. We're going to go race. That's what racing's about.
yeah plus
So,
you accomplish you get 2 teams together you accomplish more together right
yeah, we talk, we talk twice a day at least. So it's just how much we love this sport and love racing and all this stuff. It's just so much fun.
that's so good to hear that's really cool I'm sure everybody knows. I mean, your dad was a flat bottom racer for years, and so, I mean, growing up, was that just? Did you always know you were going to race? Is that just the thing?
Not till I was a little older. I know when I was born, I think I was 3 days old, and I went to my first boat race. So
Really?
probably 6 months before my dad got killed, he bought a little hydroplane, a little T-boats they called them back, and me and him were going to build that together. And then when he got killed, Mark Allenson and Bob Long kind of took over the project and finished it, and Mark did most of the work and kind of took me in, and we went to race that thing for 2 or 3 years, and I got a little new one, and then finally hooked up. Greg Foster got a little T-boat too, and his was faster than mine. It made me mad. He had a cab over, and I was like an old silent driven in the back, but then we built that E-boat together, and like I said, me and Greg Foster from probably 10 years old to when he just died last year, both 64 years old, were friends. And actually,
wow.
when my dad got killed, him and Bill, Greg's dad, were real good friends, and
Oh yeah.
he would come down to San Diego and pick me up in his little 2-seater airplane and fly me back and forth so I could hang out with him on the weekends and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Wow, that's nice.
Just like Jerry Gilbert. I've known Jerry Gilbert forever too. We're good friends. I go help him at his shop when he's working on something because he's a lot older than me, so it's harder for him to climb in on a boat. I'm pretty small. I can get in and out of him still good, so I help him out too.
Yeah. I know. I think I saw it was when Greg passed. I saw you did like a Facebook post, or maybe your wife did. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you guys were that good of friends. You went that far back.
Yep, long ways back.
Yeah. So I mean, so your dad was cool though. He was cool with it. That's
he
knew
raced
you were gonna
SKs and he raced. Got into Ks. He had drag boats. He had a blown gas flat called White Mist, and actually, my stepdad Paul built the motor for that, and he had a blown gas hydro for a little while, and my dad always wore that feather on his helmet, and I wore that for the first 2 or 3 years when I raced for Richard. So something different, pretty cool.
So I guess growing up too, you're probably always wrenching on stuff, right? I mean, did your dad do a lot of his
Yeah,
own wrenching too?
when my dad got killed, my mom remarried Paul, so he's had the engine shop forever. He was a fireman, so he did both in the beginning, and then probably in, I don't know, so that was 1980. I started working for him. I think in about 77 or 8, he retired from the fire department and started working in the engine shop full time. I started there in 1980, and didn't quit till 2016. That's when I went to TRD. But yeah, just learning from him and great guys like John Garrison and Greg Sipple. A couple of guys that John Garrison worked at Keith Black's and ran top field drag cars, and he's just a really smart guy. And Greg Sipple, super smart, worked on NASCAR teams and all kinds of stuff. So you just learn from the best. And Paul seemed to have a knack to just not be afraid to try something. And we always, to me, because growing up, I always knew that our boats were always faster. The engines had more power.
I mean, if Paul wouldn't have come along, do you think? Is that something you think you would have done, or would it?
It's hard to say. You don't know about your life.
Yeah.
You just go with the flow. And
Yeah.
I started building engines. We built that e-boat because Paul and Bill were still good friends because Paul built Bill's motors all his life. Well, later in life, I guess Gus, a Ford guy, Bill Foster had Fords in his boat in the beginning. Then he had Chevys. That's when Paul started building them. But they were really good friends and still are good friends. They still talk today. Bill's 93 years old and Paul's
Oh my
90.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
They're still going.
Oh my gosh.
So
You do you see Paul once in a while, or?
I don't see Paul too much. Him and my mom moved to Colorado, so a little bit of falling out there.
No,
Crazy story, but
that's too
yeah,
bad.
family and money and
Family.
sisters and nephews, bad deal.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. That's too bad. That's too bad.
Whatever.
Well,
But yeah,
you got all.
they're happy. I think they're happy. They're living together in Colorado with my nephew and my sister, so good for them.
Yeah. Well, you got a ton of good memories, so.
Oh yeah. Yep, sat next to Paul every day for 36 years.
Crazy.
So, yeah, even when COVID hit, because they were in their 80s, so it was they were scared to go anywhere.
Mhm.
So me and Katie, my wife, or my daughter, every weekend we would go to Costco and the grocery store by their house and buy them groceries, whatever they needed, and took them to their house. So they didn't have to leave the house.
Mhm.
We're so scared, but everybody knew that it was just a freaking hoax.
Mhm.
They could just live their life.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel, anyways.
Yeah, it's I think the truth's somewhere in the middle, but
Yep.
yeah, you're right.
Yep.
So going back to the TRD thing. So how was it when you went to TRD? Was it? I mean, were you a little shell shocked at first? Did you feel like
stuff,
over your head, or
some of the stuff they did to me was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. Never would have thought of that, But TRD is a engineer driven company, so they have, I don't know how many they have, but that's all they do is try and figure out how to go, make more power every day. We got 3 dynos that run development engines and 2 that are for sign off, and this is what we do all day long. They build something, try this, try that, and whatever, and it's cool, but they just do things differently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of told what to do.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing, some people would think, oh, since you've gone there, because I went there 216, so Truex won the championship. He was running really good. Oh, since you've gone there, they started stepping up. I'm thinking to myself, I have absolutely nothing to do with any of that.
Don't tell them.
All I do is take that motor off the engine stand, bolt it on the dyno, hook up the oil lines and the fuel lines, and it doesn't even have a throttle. It's all fly-by-wire. I just use a mouse to run it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
wow.
It's all electric dynos.
Wow. Yeah.
They're pretty awesome though. We can run any racetrack. It'll run shifting and it does everything. It's really
no
cool.
kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, insane.
I can't say too much. I might get in trouble.
Yeah. So they pretty much, when it comes off, the engineers, they probably pretty much know what it's going to do. I mean, for the most part. Or...
Well, yeah, because before any race engine that we have, it all gets run on the development dynos, and and actually we do Durabs and everything, and just kind of stuff that they do, and yeah, they test everything before it comes to our side to go in the car. They know it's going to work.
Yeah. You got to be daydreaming though. Like, how can I put my K motor on this, and how can I figure out a K track?
Well, actually, their dynos are only good for about 1,000 horsepower because they're electric, so they can't handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Crazy. I don't know if you might not be able to talk about it. It's cool. How's the discussions about Australia? Has anything been said on that?
We're gonna shoot for 2026.
Okay, is that's the official? Okay.
They wanted us real bad in 2025, or actually in 2024, and when Mike had some obligations and Buckles had some obligations, so they decided not for 2000. We talked about 2025, but we're all went from running 130 to 150, and it's a huge engine change program, and we all kind of talked and said we're not going to commit until we can run 3 or 4 races in a row and not break anything or hurt. If it's something stupid, then it's no big deal, but we want to race heats. I'm not going to go over there all the way to Australia and look like a fool and break every heat. And we went there in 17 or 16, I think it's 16 with Michael and Steve Sequeira, and Michael and Duff won the overall. We never won a main, but he won the overall points by 1 point. So he was the USA Australian champion, which was awesome. And Steve actually ended up, I think, third overall or something crazy like that, or sixth overall, and even flipped, so he didn't finish one heat. And when we went back in 2019, we thought we had something for him, but we were kind of, not to say lost, except for when we went over there, we started hopping our stuff up more. Those guys run fast. I mean, they're fast. But so we started hopping our stuff and found out that our mags weren't good enough to run the power. And we were shutting the mag off. So we're trying to think, why won't this thing go? We have to take blower back out. But we still ended up third overall that year. And we didn't race the final because we thought the front of the crank was broken dust, but it just took the front bearing out. We didn't have crank supports and stuff back then. So we got some crank supports from Richard Lee, made us some crank supports. So the front of the snout and the blower and all that stuff's all supported with a thing off the front drive and a big bearing and shoulder, so it holds it steady. So the blower ain't yanking on it. You got the blower, you're running 25 or 30 over on a 1471. It's a lot of pressure on the number one main bearing.
Yeah. Did they live pretty well now with that setup? Yeah.
We're really, really good now. And like I said, we went to Burley and thing was running perfect until that fuel line. And Michael ran all weekend, and Mr. Big Stuff, he only broke a V drive on Saturday, which was unfortunate. Broke the bottom shaft or something, so they didn't get it repaired until Saturday night. But they ran both heats on Sunday, looking good. So, yeah,
it's pretty cool. So back to Australia. I mean, did you enjoy that? What would you think about that over there?
I'll tell you what. If we go in 2026, if you can afford just to go for the first weekend, it's something you'll never see in your life again. They have 30 bad boats over there.
I know.
30 blown boats, and they are all fast, all of them. You got the 4 or 5 that are really good, and you got 20 that can all run 140. And you always have a few stragglers, but they're all fast.
Yeah,
they're all great drivers. They're great people. It's just when you get there, they take care of everything for you. Your boats are parked, and we go just check everything out, and then everybody's super cool. And your racing starts, man. You got to go because you might race 3 or 4 heats in one day. It's all about a point system and getting into the final. And so, if you can get it to Australia, I'm telling you, it's something to see.
Yeah, Duff connected me with Chris Palmer, and I had him on, and ever since then, I talk about it all the time. I think it's the coolest stuff, man.
It is cool.
It's really cool.
We want to try and get them over here. It's just expensive, and we're trying to figure out a way how to help them because they help us getting over there. Pretty much. So it'd be nice if we could try and get them over here. And
I'm surprised because there's so many of them. I'm surprised you couldn't get 3 or 4 of them, and it's also because it's their off season too, right? So
I think we could get 5 or 6 of them. We just gotta. I think if me and Michael just gotta sit down and talk with Ross Wallach and find some sponsorship and get them over here,
Yeah, but I'll have to post a link to his. He live streamed it last year, and you can still go watch. You can still go watch it. It's pretty cool. But yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
and then the 6-liter races they have over there. And those boats they're awesome boats, beautiful boats. They run 130 down the straightaway, a little blown boat,
Oh my gosh. There's a video I saw the other day. There's a V6 called a Barry, I think it is.
It's not a V6, it's a straight 6.
Straight 6. Oh, no
turbo
kidding.
In the explicit.
Yeah.
Tony Holmes' boat. He's quick.
Oh yeah, I think
he's quick.
Yeah.
I don't think he can go much faster than 140 because that's about all the fastest the boat can go. But he gets on a short course, like Windsor's a short course. He could beat you if he doesn't have any trouble. They're tough.
Yeah, crazy. That's cool. That's kind of a bummer you guys aren't going to get over there this year, but I get it. It's a long way to go to spend the week in somebody else's shop trying to fix stuff.
And we're trying to, I know Duff, he's 71. I think he'll be 72 next year. So he's at the end of his deal. I think the Australia thing would be like a last hurrah for Duff, and then he'll probably retire and have to find someone else for Michael's boat. But we got a few people in mind, but I'm not going to say who, but
yeah.
We got a few people.
I think Duff was actually, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. I think he actually was hoping for 26 as well because his kid's over there in the military and
his kid's in the military and he couldn't make it and he wants him to come, see his last hurrah. And, when back in 88, 89, all the way to 95, me and Duff raced against each other a lot and we did not like each other at all.
I was just going to ask you that because I
No.
know you had some battles through your.
We did not like each other at all. I think it's just, he always picks on me because I never had to pay anything. And I said, well, if you're good enough, you don't have to pay for anything. He finally got some owners that took care of him, paid. But I'll tell you right now, Duff is probably the greatest driver of all time.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
He's done so much and he's driven for so long, and he's just so smooth, and he drives completely different than anybody else.
Really?
Everybody has their day. Back when I was racing him, I probably had a little better equipment than him because I had a guy that had a lot more money. Duff was paying for everything himself, and then my boat was really fast, and it was tough to beat. And Chuck's boat was really fast. So we had a lot of battles, but I think I got the best of him most of the time. He's tough, well, I tell you. He's always in the third lap. If you fell asleep in the third lap, that old boy's going by you.
Really?
But it was funny because we went to Australia, and it was 2019. We had to ride from Windsor to Burley, which is like a 12-hour drive. So we're in the truck together, and I'm looking over, just me and him, right? This little truck. And I look over and I go, would you have ever thought that me and you would be in like a 9 or 10-hour ride together? We hated each other 20 years ago. Now we're on the same team.
Yeah.
But he's a great guy. Just anything. I mean, you don't really get to know someone. You just spit spat at the race, whatever. But when you get older, you realize that it's all foolishness, and you should just like everybody. And if it's a competitor and you're racing against them, you still gotta like them. They're just people and they're friends, and they're just trying to do the same thing you are. Everybody wants to win.
Yeah, and you're in the same fraternity, right? I mean, there's not many of you guys, and the competitive juices get going, right? And
so I think Cory's in a position right now where I was in '89. I wanted everything, and that's where Cory's at right now. And he's an incredible kid. I'm telling you. I'm really glad he's driving for us, Tom and Janice's team, and the whole team they got is incredible. Those guys work their butt off,
Yeah, it's nice. That's nice. He got the call on that one. That's pretty cool. And by the way, I asked Duff, which I was going to ask you, but you've answered it. I asked Duff, and he said you're definitely the toughest guys he ever raced against. So
I would say Duff is the toughest guy I ever raced against too. I mean, he raced against George Stratton, but he just wouldn't turn that good sometimes. He got it sometimes, and in the super stock class and stuff, my brother-in-law Lance was probably the toughest guy I ever raced against.
Mm-hmm.
But in the K boats, for sure, was Duff. If Duff wasn't out there, I really don't want to say there wasn't any competition because there was always guys out there. But I think my boat was just, to be honest with you, 15 to 20 miles faster than everybody else's.
Really?
Everybody else going 125, I'm going 140.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this boat will go 140 all day long.
Mm-hmm. So why was it so good? Because obviously it made good power. Was it just a setup at the bottom? You guys got something right?
The setup, it's just something that sometimes you get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right out of the gate, when you can take a boat and just put it in the water and do one little plate adjustment, and when it'll carry in smooth water, then you're set in rough water. You just ride the down pedal a little bit and it goes right over the top. But when it'll get up and rock back and just go, and a lot of the K boats, they suck in, they're going fast and move around. And not this thing. This thing just goes. Like when I set the Keeler record, I just kept it floored. We had a 60 gear in that thing.
Really?
I would just tap the up pedal. As soon as the boat would come down, I'd feel just start to. I just tap the up pedal. The thing would just raise up again and just carry the fin. And going 100. I went 100. I got clocked 149.9, so I had to be going over 150 somewhere in there. It irks me that I didn't go over 150 because I'd have been the first one over 150 in an open K boat. But Duff's got that honors in not an open K boat, a capsule though. But still, he went 153 and a quarter. Mike's boat, they got the record in a quarter mile kilo. It's pretty awesome, but the record will be way bigger than that pretty soon. Now we're back with APBA, so we can go run a kilo now.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Yeah, you can do that out here then. Okay, great. Yeah,
it's a good thing we got back into APBA just because I think it draws more boats for Ross, and it's hard racing out here, and for Ross, all the stuff that he does, putting on these races and stuff. And we lost Long Beach, that was a big money maker for him to carry some of these other races. So it's been hard for him, and we're just trying to help him out as much as we can. And San Diego hopefully will be huge for us, and hopefully we can get a good track down there. But their boats are really going to go fast down there.
Yeah, I did some ski racing, and you always could tell when you're in salt water too. It just felt more buoyant, and so
that's another thing. The building engines. I mean, that's what I've done in my life is build engines. So I built engines for Tom Buckles and Randy Davis ski racing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've been building motors for Tom for over 20 years. The super stock, the K boats before the capsule boats. Tom won a couple championships, super stock and K. And of course, all the championships we won with Dave Rankin in the super stock, in the white K boat with Tony Scarlato driving it. And Dave Bryant driving Dave's boat, won championships. And, with Randy Davis, we won 2 or 3 world championships with Todd Haig, with my engines in the boat. One with Marty Wells in Long Beach. The Catalina ski race, I pulled Caitlin Winter women's overall with Pfaff engines and a Nordic boat. I mean, Pfaff engines has done a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Joe Baca down there running Pfaff engines, we worked together for 5-6 years. Like I said, I call him a kid too, but he's 45 years old. But he's really smart. He's really good at what he does. He doesn't say, "Oh, this will be okay." That's not the way it works. Everything's, with him is like, "Hey, this got to be done correctly, or I ain't doing it all." And he's really good with out drives and boat repair and stuff. So he's got a great thing going on down there.
Mm-hmm. So he stays busy down there building engines.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're really busy. They're right down by the harbor. And Dave Rankin had a friend down there that knew a lot of people in the harbor, and they said, "Oh, you got to go over here." Took a lot of business from that. And then when John's Custom Marine closed up shop, we bought their phone number and customers from them. And
oh, nice.
And one of John's main guy that worked there, Kai, super talented and smart with outboards and stuff. So he works at Pfaff, running the outboard department and take care of all that stuff. So they got a lot of customers from that. And yeah, they're busy. It's a good shop.
Mm-hmm. That's nice to have you to on tap.
Yeah,
for,
they got everything. I can go there, balance my cranks, pin fit the rods and pistons,
nice.
On the blocks, deck the blocks, everything. So it makes it really nice for me.
Yeah.
And I do whatever I can to help them out. I send them business, help them sometimes take stuff apart or whatever, or hold a block for them or whatever I can to help them out.
How many calls a week do you get from guys that want you to do motors? And you're like, no.
Not too many, actually. I've had a few people call me and I just say, I'd like to, but it's too difficult for me. When I retire and I'm going to have a shop behind my house, then maybe I'll do one here. I'll pick and choose what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's still fun. So
the last few years you've been driving one of Randy's boats in the 9-hour? Well, the Parker Enduro. Like I always got an hour.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Everybody thinks it's really easy, but it's not really easy. You run 100, 105 all the time. You're dodging boats, wakes, and I'm probably the worst driver they got, to be honest with you, as far as controlling the boat and stuff. Because Randy drives all the time. To trim it and add ballast and same with Billy. He's been driving them forever. Billy's an incredible driver, but they got marks for the tabs and the drives, and they go, when you get half a tank empty, just fill the ballast up about halfway and do this. And I just leave the driver tabs and go. If it gets out of control, I just slow down a little bit and just keep driving. And the turns are the hardest part. If you can get it in and set and keep it gassed, then it'll drive around. But if you don't, then it starts going like this through the turn. And you're going, oh God. Flat bottom guy, they don't like boats when they go like this, but that thing does that a lot, and it's like a little scary for us guys.
Yeah,
but it is a lot of fun, and I appreciate everything Randy does for me and let me drive his boat. And I think he has a lot of faith in me, because just like when me and Greg Foster raced for Jerry Gilbert on the 9-hour. One time Jerry had me finish, and Greg was upset, and Jerry looks at him and goes, he'll do what I tell him. You'll just go out there and go as fast as you can. But Greg, his nickname is Fearless. I love him to death. I wish he was still here with us. But he was. That guy could drive an outboard like no tomorrow. In fact, we used to race the Superstock when my brother-in-law Lance was alive. He had the Superstock Racing Series, him and Paul Whittington, and they hooked up with the outboards with the tunnel boats. No, the tunnel boats, Seabold, Foster had the Quaker Stays with Craig Wint and all them. And just going and watching Greg race the outboard, and everybody else is kind of like lying and just following each other, man. He's diving in and out of people, diving this way and diving that way. And when he went to retire, they begged him not to retire because it's so exciting for the fans. They want him to stay there. And he was an incredible driver. He won championships with Wynn. It was awesome just to do all that stuff and, go to different events. And we raced in St. Louis, and they called our boats. Those are car motor boats because they thought they had car motors in our boats. They go, those are car motor boats. They never seen them before. All they seen was the outboards. They never seen flat bottom before.
Uh-huh.
And so it's crazy back there. And just getting, I'm just lucky that I've been able to travel all over the country and race and, do all that stuff. And very blessed. And, my wife came from a racing family, her dad raced and both her brothers raced. And just what I've done all my life. And I'm going to keep doing it until I die.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Good that you had a long career and you're here to talk about it and watch it still.
Yeah, I got lucky on that one. Very lucky. My accident was really bad in '95, so I got lucky to make it through that one.
Yeah. Was it in a K boat?
In a K boat,
Yeah.
driving Hobbit. It was back '90. It was just they made the capsule rule, and so if you had a capsule boat, which whatever APBA, you got the inside and you could run whatever engine you wanted. With an unblown boat, you could have only a certain amount of overdrive in your blower. So that weekend, George was running really good in his capsule boat that he had. He was the only one that had there. So I was out in lane 5 and he was in lane 1. So we down the straightaway, he could pull me down the straightaway, but I'd gather him up in the turn. And on the third lap, we caught 2 guys that we were lapping, and one guy stayed on the inside and one guy went to the outside. And as I come around, I kind of hit his wake and the boat went straight up like this. And I went straight down on the boat, landed right on top of him.
Man.
So it broke my pelvic on both sides, and I broke my left hip. I smashed my right shoulder blade, smashed in. Got a compound fracture in my arm, got a plate in my arm because I snapped my arm in half. And then I broke 7 ribs. I punctured a lung. But the worst thing that was wrong with me is I had a main artery severed in my right kidney.
Oh, wow.
And it took them 4 hours to find it. They foamed it to get it to stop.
Uh-huh.
And in 4 hours, I went through 20 pints of blood and 12 pints of plasma.
Wow.
From there, that was in Richland, Washington, and they sent me to Seattle. That was kind of funny because they said you can go to 2 hospitals. You can go to this one over here, which is a real good area and safe, but you'll for sure die over there probably. Or you can send them to Harborview Medical Center, which is right in the middle of Seattle. Bad town, but it's all doctors right out of college training and stuff. And the night that because I crashed on Sunday, Monday they flew me there. And in the ambulance ride pulling to the hospital, there was a gunfight outside. So there was a metal detector at night when you had to walk in. You had to walk in with a metal detector no matter what, because gangs would come in there and try and kill the other gang members. It was crazy.
Wow.
But great place, great doctors. So, like I said, I got lucky. I had blood clots. I had 17 chest tubes, kidney dialysis machine, and all this stuff. And I always tell everybody I was just too stupid to die. I wasn't ready. I wasn't done yet picking on everybody.
Yeah. Well, that hospital, the doctors were probably all battle tested, right? From all the gunshots and stabbings, right?
They would all tell you. They get like 6 or 7 doctors in a room and talk about it. And then they would have conference calls like we are right now and talk to doctors in Washington, D.C. on what to do. My lungs wouldn't come back to life. So they put me on a baby respirator. It pumps real fast.
Mm-hmm.
They had never done that before. That was the only way to keep my lungs up until they finally healed by themselves and got going. But I was in induced coma for 6 weeks.
Oh my God, I didn't know it was that bad. Holy cow.
Yeah, I was out of work for a whole year.
No kidding.
Then, I ripped the nerves from my spine on the right side. So my right leg still from the knee down is all numb. I run into stuff all the time. I come home and bleed and I go, oh well. So, but I had to learn to walk again and everything after that accident. So it was, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be here. And so I'm enjoying my life. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you said that was in 95?
95.
Wow. But so you raced again after that?
Yeah, not very smart, but yeah.
Wow. Wow.
You try and be safe, but anything can happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to sit on the couch the rest of my life just because I tried to kill myself once. So you got to keep living.
Yeah.
People always say, "What are you doing?" I come home from my mountain bike ride. I got a big old marks my arm from crashing and stuff. What are you doing? This guy passed me. It pissed me off. I want to pass him back. I got caught in a rut. It's just love racing people.
How often do you mountain bike?
I will go every day is if I don't have to go to Pfaff's. So, but I had I would say a regular mountain bike for a while, but I just got an e-bike.
Did you?
About 3 months ago. 3 months ago, and I already got 1,000 miles on it.
I mean, those e-bikes are pretty cool. I ride road bikes, and one of the guys I ride with just got an e-bike. But you get going pretty dang fast. I don't know if it's the smartest thing for you in an electric bike.
That's the problem. It's still the same exercise. People trying to say it's not, but it really is the same exercise. In fact, they've actually proven that it's the same or maybe more. Mm-hmm. But as you go farther, you just get done faster. What used to take me an hour and 20 minutes to do my loop by my house, I'm right by a Whiting Ranch. It's a wilderness thing and big trails everywhere. Mm-hmm. Now it takes me like 50 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I can hop on this go,
Yeah.
My kids got one. We go together.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's really cool. Yeah, your kid goes. But you're very competitive on it still?
Oh yeah. I'll get to the point where I know I'm getting too crazy. And then I tell myself, you got to slow down because, it really hurts when you crash. But yeah, it's fun. And my son raced boats for a while too. We built, when he got 9 years old, we built him a little J Hydro. Mm-hmm. And then we raced for that for a while. And he won he was High Point champion on the West Coast. That's the US 2, what they call them, the outboards. And we went to the World Championships up in Washington. And he raced up there and he got, I think 4th in his class and 5th in the bar to runabout from Charlie Marquardt. Great dude right there too. Let me tell you, him and his family are just great people. He raced K-boats for a long time. He's a great driver too. You don't see too many guys that are 6'7" that are great drivers, but
is he really 6'7"? Holy crap!
He's one of the best guys, best drivers, and best family. They're really awesome. He loves racing too. He takes his kids all over the country racing those outboards. It's all good stuff. Everybody, boat racers it is kind of like a family. You always got the few here and there that people don't like someone or this, that one, whatever. But 90% of the people are really nice, really good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your son's not racing anymore?
Not racing anymore right now, but he's got an offer to drive someone's SC boat, so I think we're working on it. It probably maybe Bakersfield or after Bakersfield, maybe. I really didn't want him in an open boat, but anything can happen. But in SCs, they're not too bad. They only go 85, but still you can get killed at 85. But it's just not the power and torque of other boats, so it makes it better. And then hopefully if he can get good in that and dominate that, I can find someone to put him in a capsule boat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's really good at when he races outboard. I told him that if you want to win all the time, it's all about the start. It's all about the start in those boats. And he figured it out. I don't know how he figured it out, but he figured it out. And when we went to the World Championships, he was the first legal boat, by inches, every race. And people would come over and go, how the heck does he do that? I go, I don't know, but he's got a knack for it. So that was cool. He listens. He's still your kid, they think they know everything and they listen to everything, but I think they listen anyways, and you don't think they're listening. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think he'll be good someday. I'm telling you, that kid, he goes home, studies tapes, and he's just living a dream right now, driving this boat, and he's ready. After Burley, he's ready. You see that footage of his feet in the GoPro?
Yeah, that was so cool.
I got on the gas twice. I go, what are you doing to my engine? You got to let it breathe every once in a while. I go, nope. He goes, I want to win. I go, obviously. That was pretty cool.
So when you saw that was a revelation. You're like, hey, dude.
But yeah, if you listen closely, if you look at the tape again, like the 1 minute 43 second, you can hear the boat lay down the back straightaway, then it picks up again, then it lay down again. That's when we lost fuel pressure. That's when it blew the head gasket. Part of racing. It's a shitty part of racing, but it's part of racing.
Yeah. How does that go though? Because there's that fine line, right? Like you don't want him to lift, but then you want your stuff to live. And
it's still like me and Michael and Cory. We talk a lot. It's like it's still you don't want it to be, but what we're doing right now, we've never done before. So it's still a learning curve. And Cory's only driven this boat maybe a year, and not just lately. We've been up to the speeds that we're at now and the power that we have. Cory drove it for a year, and we had a real good engine, but the blower on it just didn't make any boost. So it only run like 125. He just floored it everywhere. And we finally put a good blower on it. He came back in and he goes, okay, now we got some power. But I go to Burley, because this Burley, you're 8,000 feet corrected. You can keep putting blower in them, but they just only make so much power, and the boat's only going to go so fast. So it's a pretty big track. So it's we got a good prop that made it really easy for him to turn. And he said, I can flat floor this thing all the way around the track, no problem. Like, all right, let her go.
Yeah. Wow. And now you got the video to prove it.
Yep. So pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this team. Excited for Tom and Janice and their son Jeff, part of the crew. And you got Mike and Rick is Cory's father-in-law.
Okay.
He works. They work on the boat. No questions asked. They're both retired, Mike and Rick, but still, it's like their time. They love it. Rick's on. They both go to. Cory's kind of involved, but the Wilson Brothers off-road team.
Mm-hmm.
They work on that car all the time.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
So yeah, they go to Mexico all the time, and in fact, two of the guys at my shop, the one guy I work with all day long, Scott Elfer, and then the other guy at our shop, Justin Munyon, who does all our throttle bodies and stuff. Justin, he drives the car, and Scott helps him and crews on him and stuff. So yeah, it's just a small world when you start looking at everything, but there's just so many people around that make everything happen. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. The collaboration is really cool.
Yeah. And then the guys at my work, I have the best boss ever. I'm not just saying that, but he is. He's the best boss ever. And then Scott and Carlos, two guys. And Carlos runs Dyno 2. I run Dyno 1. And Scott's, he was an engine builder. He built engines for a long time there at TRD. And then now he's not an engineer, but we call him an engineer because he does all the tune-ups on the engine, the final tune-ups for our side of it. And then they get retuned on the chassis dyno over there. But he does all that and takes care of all that and looks at all the data. And it's just, they pick on me all day. It's fun, but we pick on each other, but they pick on me more than anything. But I just laugh at them.
Yeah. They pick on you because you're an old guy or because you're the boat guy?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. Do they have any fascination with what you do, or do they have any idea what you do? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some of them come to the races and stuff. So
oh, cool.
That couple are going to come to San Diego, and yeah. No, they dig it. They get it. They work on stuff too. They're racers at heart. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's nice having a job where you go to. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They make it fun. And I call it a retirement home because most of the people that work there have been there a lot of their life, 20 years or more, and they've never had to work a normal job where, am I going to get paid this week or not get paid, or,
Yeah.
So it is a really cool place. And everybody there's really good people.
Yeah. And I mean, that's obviously a sign of the quality of life there when everybody's been there forever, right?
Yeah. And it's, but it's still corporate, which took me a while to get used to. But like today, I had forklift training. You think you got that at Pfaff Engines?
Yeah.
Hey, kid, get on that and throw that over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but that's what they got to do in that corporate world.
I worked for a big corporation one time for like 10 years. And like my first week, I'll never forget, I get to kind of know people, and there's the grumblings and, I can't believe, they haven't changed the coffee pot. And I'm like, you guys have no idea. Working from a little company, like, you have a coffee pot, you have an IT guy, like, so,
an actual lunchroom and microwaves and refrigerator.
And a lunch break.
3 or 4 coffee machines and the mocha machines, whatever they got. And they got hot chocolate just laying if you want to make it. They got all this stuff. There's like crazy.
That's great that at your stage in life, you were able to find a job like that. That's after all those years of, working and running your own business. That's, and I always said, I've been in the boating business my whole life, but I always said, man, engine building's got to be the toughest gig, man.
It's the toughest.
It's how to make money. It's so labor intensive. How do you make money at it? The warranty situation, because no matter, right? No matter how you build stuff with spare no expense, and it still can hurt itself, right?
I think it just gets to a point where you just got to tell yourself, look, everything's got to be correct. And it's just the way it's got to be. And if they don't want to pay for it, you tell them to pick it up and take it somewhere else. I'm going to do it my way that I know how to do it, and this way it's going to be. And, got to be correct. I don't say perfect because nothing's perfect. You got to say correct. I learned that at TRD.
Yeah. Is that in their employee
Right.
handbook? We don't say that.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, love racing. My family loves it. My kids love it. They all like to come and, hang out with everybody. And the Burley thing's a big, huge thing for our family and my wife's family, especially the Faulkner family.
Mm-hmm.
And, they've 50, 50 years. And this year, next year will be their 50
Wow.
years. They put a boat on the water every year, and they have the Faulkner Trophy mink coat. They don't get the mink coats away anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And, I want a mink coat, and Lance got 3 or 4 of them. And,
Oh, nice.
my engine's probably got 10 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And you got what I see you got the John Avery Award this
the
year?
John Avery Award this year, that was really, it made me start crying now. That was special. He was such a great dude.
Yeah.
Everybody, he just did everything for everybody. If someone needs something, if a boat flipped, he's the first guy over there, grabbing the
Really?
shooter carburetor, taking it back to Dave's trader, rebuilding it, cleaning it, making it perfect for everybody, and giving it back to him. Here you go, it's ready to go.
Oh, nice.
He's just incredible, and his tune-ups and when I got his trophy, I told a little story about the week before he died. He called me up and said, "Hey, you're rebuilding my family Bill's Pro Stock motor." And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I want to come down here and see how you do it." And I go, "Yeah, come on down, let's go," because I worked on Saturdays and stuff. So he came down, and it was a big high compression thing, so I'm fitting the pistons because they were hitting the heads, and Clarence, and he's helping me, and he's grinding on the heads and grinding on the pistons, and he thought it was cool, and he was working on the manifold a little bit, and we got it all done, and I go, "All right, I'll see you next Saturday. We're gonna dyno this thing." And he died that Friday, and I had a dyno Saturday, and it was like, yeah, it was being great to be able to do that with him, and just but he was just a great dude. Love racing too. In fact, funny story, his kid told me at his funeral, he goes, his kid said I was going to say the story, but I didn't. He goes, but one day my dad walked up and he goes, "Yeah, Gordy's coming to get me going the river." And I looked at my dad and go, "I thought you hated Gordy." Because he had a super talk with Don Ryder when I was racing my super talk with Richard. We all be doing battling.
Sure.
I'd win most of the time. And, Ryder beat me a couple times, but I win most of the time. And, we just didn't really know. It's like I said, it's like me and the Duff thing. You don't really know each other. And then,
Sure.
But he started working with Dave, and we got to know each other. And, we drive to the river together and go to races together and hang out. So, yeah, he was just a great dude. Miss him a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's cool.
Thank you. I like helping people. I'll help anybody. I tried to help this kid with this SC this weekend, but I just got too busy. He needed his float adjusted, and I kept asking, "You okay? Did you get it?" But it's just, walk around. And of course, we help the other K teams and help some of the SC guys if I can, or whoever. So
yeah,
I got another buddy at work, Donovan, does cylinder heads there. He's in partners with a guy running the Judge, the GN99.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
They had issues all day Saturday. The thing kept overheating. So I went and took a look at the boat for them. And they're new. They're learning. They're really good guys, great guys. Got a great engine builder. And their pickups were flush with the bottom of the boat. And I go, "Well, this is your problem. You can't have that. The thing's got to hang down at least half an inch." So I went to Diller's shop, machined them up, and the thing ran perfect all day Sunday.
Nice.
They almost beat the guy. If they would have beat the guy and got first place, they would have won the Bill Faulkner Trophy. Because the GM would have got the trophy.
Oh, nice. But, I didn't see who won GNs. I didn't see.
Bill, somebody's got the yellow Ford. Got the yellow GM with the Ford. Bill something. Bill Mason, I think is his name.
Okay. Well, it's got a Ford, huh?
Fast boat, yeah, the Ford with the 180 headers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Great guy. It's fast. Yeah. They had a good race.
Uh-huh.
It was fun.
Well, that's cool. Like a kid, just an SC boat, and you walk by and help him, and that guy's got to be stoked.
I can help anybody. Like Scott Spilworth, him and Troy Hooker on that 77 boat. That's a 105 boat. I can help Scott and teach him how to drive. And they're great guys, too. Him and Troy are great people. All the boat racers are great people. So help whoever I can. If anybody wants help, I say don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Been around a long time. I've seen a lot.
Yeah, that's very cool. Obviously, man, you've been building motors a long time. So what's kind of like the one big innovation, like the technology that like you feel like changed things the most?
Well, it's not a problem. It's a good thing for most people. But in the olden days, I say olden days, the 80s and 90s, you had to port your own cylinder heads. You had to port your own intake manifolds. You had to figure out your camshaft. Well, you still got to figure out your camshaft today, but you had to do all those things to make power and learn things. And nowadays, you can buy a set of cylinder heads that are so badass. You just bolt them on and you call the cam guy, say, I got these heads and I got this what camshaft I use, and they'll get you something that's going to run really good. And so you don't have to be, a real genius unless you're trying to build some pro stock thing like Joey Gross, there's another guy that's an incredible, great guy, good friend of mine. He does a great job what he's doing up there. He's helped me a lot with this program, tuning, and give me advice. Him and another guy named Dave Ebert, DNN Engines. They do a lot of drag boat stuff, but they help me a lot. So never think you know everything. You always got to ask a lot of questions to get a lot of info, because I try to go to guys that I know that run really fast and I've been doing it a while. So those two guys have been doing it a long time, and they've helped me a lot with the skateboat program. And so,
nice. By the way, Joey Gross, worse guy with technology than you, because I've been trying to get him on for months and we can't get it fixed.
Oh, he's twice as busy as me. Not that I'm shy. I think he just don't. Yeah. I'll call him and give him hell. Say, you got to go on the podcast.
No, he wants to. I've talked to him a couple of times, but he's always, his girl's trying to get on. They have problems, and then then they get so busy. She's like, I can't talk to you for 2 days. And I'm like, okay, one of these days it'll work out.
Yeah, he's swamped right now. Yeah, I saw a picture on Facebook just a couple of days ago. Just had an engine all mocked up. He goes, 7 days. We'll be ready for whatever the next drag race is that he's going to.
Pro Stock's a perfect example, man. Just the hundredths of a second you're trying to. That's gotta be.
And he's building everything of his own, so it's pretty incredible. Had machines his own heads, blocks, everything. It's ports his own heads, everything. He's doing a great job.
Yeah. Was there ever any kind of racing or maybe an engine build program that you always wanted to do that you never got into?
Not really. One of the most things I'm pretty proud of is that in the super stock class, because you're limited to rules, all the stuff we figured out over the years to make more power, and that's why the 80 boat was so dominant over. Besides, the boat was really good. We had good drivers, Dave Bryant, Ty Newton, real good drivers, and good props. But we hardly had any failures in that 80 boat, and you just learn stuff with the oil pan and crank wipers and push rod thickness and size and steel rocker arms over aluminum, and how much all that changes the dynamics of everything, and you just make more power with everything. And at the end, we were with a GM dual plane manifold that had to be stock. Of course, we had Dart heads, but they're only 310 cc intake runners, and they were not ported or nothing like that stock. And we were making right at 700 horsepower.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
making right at 700 horsepower.
Weren't they 427s?
Or they're 440s. It's going to be 60 over.
Okay, 440, single carbureted.
Spec JE piston. They had to be a certain cc. So you'd only get so much lift in it. You didn't have any piston valve clearance. You weren't allowed to cut the piston or nothing. So, just stuff like a kick out with a pan and a crank wiper and, the steel rock. Just from a 3/8 push rod to a 7/16 push rod, picked up 10,000 lift just on the engine stand.
No kidding. Wow.
From aluminum rocker to steel, another 10,000. So just stuff like that. You start looking at, whoa. You put on the dyno, makes more power. Plus, we had a dyno too. A lot of guys didn't. They just put them together and put them in the boat and test, So we got to test a bunch of stuff. Different spacers, 4-hole, no hole. Just testing stuff.
But almost 700 horsepower with that motor.
695 or something we were making.
Wow. Wow, that's insane.
Yep. Crazy stuff.
They still have a super stock class, right?
Well, no.
No,
I think they call it SA now.
That's the SA, okay.
SA 105. There's a lot of old super stock boats that are running that class. Some guys build small blocks, like Jim Mobley built that small block that Cory drove for a while, that Paul Fitzgerald drives now. Takes really fast.
Oh, I didn't know that was a small block.
Yeah, it's a small block.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but it makes 800 horsepower.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So, sorry, Cory.
Yeah.
Told you secret. But obviously, it goes that fast. It's got to make a lot of power.
Yeah.
But
did you see? How about Duff's kids' boat? Did you see that Chrysler?
You got Dodge in that thing. Yeah, Duff's a diehard. That thing's really quick. He struggled a little bit in Burley only because he just doesn't have the torque that the big blocks have around the turn. They got him a little bit in the turn, and then they're both around 105, no problem. So they're all out there pulling the throttle back, trying to watch the speedometer. I don't know if I could race like that.
I was going to say that was the struggle.
Yeah.
You had Duff in the boat trying to slow down.
Yeah, I couldn't race like that. It'd be really hard. They'd have to make it only go like 103 because I'd keep it floored the whole time.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, the cool thing, it's like with the Enduro, you know, people complain, oh, there's a speed limit. Like, but you know what? Hey, it's at least you're still racing, man. That's the alternative. The alternatives wouldn't be racing, right?
You got to have a speed limit because 110 is even on the edge to me, just because we'll run 105 or 8 sometimes. And when you're passing a boat going 60 miles an hour, that's not very safe. All the guys do make a wrong move, and you're going to run right over them. That Nordics going to run right over them. So I try and stay as far away as I can, but sometimes you can't, because when you go up that far turn and you come back down, there's barely any room there around that rock to come around that turn. Because you get stuck behind 3 or 4 boats, sometimes you just got to sit there. You want to just drive in between them, but you can't because it's not safe. So you just sit there and wait, and then you go around. But that's why Randy always makes me go first, because there's more boats and it's real rough. It don't hurt his back as bad.
Gotcha.
I think it's just an excuse. He goes over there and races in Belgium and that 6-foot swells that both completely out of the water. It's got to be way more worse than the Enduro.
Yeah, with the concrete wall right next to you.
Right? Yeah, right. Crazy.
I don't know. It seems.
They're racing this weekend. I hope Todd wins. He's going to win. You watch.
Yeah,
he got pissed off. He got pissed off at Avila last year because all Avila did, every time he went to pass me, he just kept moving over in front of him.
Really?
Kept cutting them off. Oh yeah. And the funniest part is, I should send you the video. Of course, Avila will talk about when they got up on the stand for the trophy. Avila walked up there. Todd went like this with his elbow, knocked Mike right off the stage. I still watch every once in a while because I crack up. I'm surprised there wasn't fist fights, to be honest with you.
I've been I'm actually writing an article for the magazine for the race. I've been meaning, Todd and I've been playing phone tag because I want to just get a couple pre-race quotes from him. So I'm glad I talked to you. Now I got some really good stuff to ask him.
Yeah, I got something to ask him.
Yeah, go picking on the old guy.
Yeah. Great team. Randy Davis and Stevie. They're a great team. What's Todd won it 16, 17 times?
Yeah, 17? Unbelievable, huh? Right.
Yeah. Pretty incredible.
And you know, he's no spring chicken, man. Like he's
44 years old.
Yeah, that's freaking
2 kids.
fast. Yeah, that's fast.
You know?
When you know how that is, man. That slows you down. You start thinking, and he's still winning. You know,
he's a machine. That guy's a machine.
Yeah, and that race, I don't know. I did it about 10 times, and it can be really tough.
Oh yeah,
like really tough. So, yeah,
rougher the better for Todd.
Yeah. So hopefully, I think I heard somebody say it's been pretty smooth this week. I heard
they went last Saturday. It was really rough, but it's been smooth lately. But you never know.
Yeah, I hope it's rough.
The fog goes away and the wind comes up. It can get rough.
Yeah, I hope so. So, well, cool, man. So what else? Anything else in the future other than retiring? Like kilo record in Australia, it sounds
retired, Australia, kilo record.
Oh, wait, you're not going to talk about, never mind, no kilo. We're not talking about kilo record, right?
Oh, that's all right. Mike wants to do it too. In fact, Duff,
really?
being Duff,
really?
He's the one. He wants to go.
Really?
He wants to go over 160. Which they'll do it. They'll do it. I hope it's safe enough. I think they are. They're a big boat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they did a great job building up. I mean, yeah, they've crashed a couple of them. I mean, you can flip anything, but you know, Titanic sunk, right?
Yeah, but they kind of the ones that crashed were kind of early ones, right?
They're all the same, really.
But I thought they'd done a few things to the bottom.
I don't think the first one. The first one is Buckle's boat, the orange boat. That's the first boat Mike and Duff built.
Okay.
That one's never been crashed. Duff's boat, he crashed at Parker, and that was only because he went into that turn about 140, and he tried to slow down. But if you watch the video right before he crashes, and there's boats up above, there was like 4 huge 4-foot rollers.
Oh,
and it
really?
just tipped the transom up and stuffed the nose. Mm-hmm. That's over with that. And then Tyler flipped that boat at Bakersfield. He just thought he was Superman or something, just turned the wheel and it crashed.
Yeah, just new guy stuff.
That's all brand new boats. But those I think, are the only 2 that have crashed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty safe. And even Duff, when he crashed, and he had Tyler, they didn't have a scratch. You know, Duff went in that thing and the boat stopped just like that. And he was out walking around, mad at himself, like we all are when we do something stupid. But you know, that's part of it too.
Yeah. At 70 years old, and he's climbing into this capsule, this rocket ship. Yeah. I'm like, that's unbelievable, man.
Nice in good shape.
Yeah.
Ex-fireman, all he does is work out, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a bike rider. Says he does his bike ride every morning. Yeah.
Bike rider cruising around. Yeah, but he's in good shape.
Yeah.
He sleeps all the time. I don't know if you noticed that when you're walking
Does
around the
he?
pits, he's always asleep. I'm too nervous to sleep. I'm
Yeah.
praying my engine runs.
It
Corey
keeps
out there.
keeps
I know
running,
when he
right?
keeps the floor, it's going to be even worse. I told him I'm going to get an electric shock button to shock him every once in a while so he'll get off the gas. It's all good, though. That's what it's for, right?
Yeah, right. You guys.
He tells me, he goes, "What's it for?" I go, "I don't know. I guess the old K-boats, you never could do that, really. I mean, I floored mine a lot, but not all the way around the track. That's just a testament to what Mike and Duff have done with these boats to make them handle like that and go around the track. It's really cool stuff. Get more of them out here, you know?
Yeah. Maybe Cory was somebody. Does Jim Mobley's got the mold now? I guess he's building a few more of them.
He's got the mold. He's going to build a pro stock for himself. And I think he's going to lay another one up as a K if someone wants to buy one. You know? I would let Michael give you most of the stuff to rig it. You know, the one good thing about all four of the boats that are out there, and me and Mike talked about this after he built the first one, make them all exactly the same. Everything, everywhere it's at, make them all the same. That way, if we're somewhere and I need an engine or you need an engine, you can take our engine, put your mounts on it, because that's a little bit different. The mount's the only thing. Everything else will hook right up. Water lines, fuel lines, everything's the same. Fuel tanks, you know, the oil pump, the fuel pump where they're all mounted, the mag, everything's the same. So we can
interesting.
Borrow an engine from someone if they were gracious enough to do so. And I know Michael would. He would do it all day long. So,
well, plus you know you get a head start on the setup too, right? I mean, you got tried and true stuff. The guy doesn't waste a bunch of time trying to figure it out.
Well, he's got every engine he's got is different. Mr. Big Stuff, 2 engines. Well, they got. I think they're building a third. They got 2. They're all 3 exactly the same. And then the 2 that Tom had, the only thing that's different is the engine size. You know, one's a small, one's a 533, and the other one's a 565. Other than that, they got the same heads, rocker arms, blowers, everything. You know, manifolds. So it's simpler that way to tune them when you have to switch one out for something. You're ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Just racing, fun.
Yeah, awesome.
So right now the boat's at Dave's. He got it upside down because you know this boat's older, so it has a little problem right behind the strut. I have some chunks, and if you watch the video, even in Idaho, the boat kept sucking in about halfway down the straightaway. It'd come back up and go, and you know we were losing a lot of speed with that. So we got to make a longer wash plate to go up so the prop don't tear the boat up so much because it's a lot of prop wash from those boats with that much power. And,
You were you were able to figure that out as far as the handling on that.
Well, we knew the bottom was like that. We just didn't have time to fix it, but now we got time because San Diego waiting for 2 months. So, I mean, it's already, it's at Dave's right now, upside down.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got the engine at Pfaff's. Those guys went up the following weekend and ripped the motor out of the boat and brought it all home. Because Tom lives in Havasu, so got a shop in Parker where he keeps everything. So, you know, Corey's father and stuff, they got a trailer in Parker. So they go up there and rip it all out and go boating for a day and then come home. And, you know, we don't want to wait till the last minute. We like being ready 2-3 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah. So San Diego's the next race.
And it was the next race, like what, September 14th or something like that. 13th, 14th, 15th. So
yeah, that'll be fun. Night close to home, right?
Yeah, it'll be awesome. It's awesome because we get to take our trailers down there and camp.
Oh, you guys
so
can
all
camp?
just kind of hang out together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just walk over to the pits and yeah, San Diego's a lot of fun.
I've been there a few times. That's a really fun race. I want to watch it. They're gonna have the GP hydros too. I love those things.
They're pretty badass. That's another place if you ever have a chance to go to watch the Grand Prix hydroplanes is Valleyfield.
Valleyfield, yeah.
They're so close that you're right there. It's like Long Beach Marine Stadium, twice as big, but you're right there. It's pretty incredible.
I had Andrew Tate on, the GP guy, and he was just telling me like it's the coolest thing. He was even saying like in between races, he goes, "I go in the stands. We have a great time."
Oh yeah. So we went up there. How long did we go up there? Maybe 5-6 years ago. We went up there with Rankin and his boat with Ty driving, and there was like I don't know 12 Can-Ams, they call them up there. And yeah, Ty whooped them all.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know they had it.
Oh,
Do they still have them up there?
yeah, they still run.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we took the 80 boat up there and whooped them all. The 80 boat was special. I got to drive it a few times. It was really nice.
what was the name of? Was the name on that boat?
Wild Child.
That's Wild Child. Okay.
Wild Child.
Okay. Who has that boat now? Is it around or has it been?
It's around. My son was driving it at Burley, and the bottom fell apart. It's all carbon fiber,
Mm.
and he had it repaired, and then the strut broke out again, and he kind of found out through forces to repair carbon fiber, I guess, is very, very difficult.
Mm.
Very difficult. Everything's got to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it wasn't. That thing, stretches when it came through on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are trying to say you hit a piece of wood or something. You can take a sledgehammer and beat on a strut on the bottom of the boat and it ain't going to break the boat. So the piece of wood would have hit the fins in front anyways and done something else. But Nate Brown bought it and he repaired it. They know a lot about carbon fiber and all that stuff. He's up in Washington with the Jones boys and all that stuff. And he ran it once with an Ellis motor in it, and he had trouble with his engine. Engine broke, and I haven't seen him run it since. So I don't know.
Yeah, and a carbon fiber boat hull. I mean, that's a whole different stress than a fender or something, right?
You really had to be on your toes to drive it because it didn't bend and flex like a regular fiberglass boat.
Oh, interesting.
You didn't think they'd bend and flex, but they do a little bit. This thing was really, if it shined it, you had to be ready. But
interesting.
Man, was it a dream to drive? I mean, but Dave took care of it and took care of the bottom all the time, made sure it was perfect, and good props. It was nice.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you've been in some pretty iconic boats.
Been around a lot of great boats. The Canary boat, Canary Pride. And they've won 3 or 4 mink coats with that. And when Ty was driving up there, we won every time up there. And and then Ty was still driving for Dave, and he said, Dave, you have to find someone else, because then finally Ty said, I got to drive Dave's boat. I can't keep doing that to him. And we put Duff in it, and he won that year. And then lately we've just been having our nephew drive. He wanted to drive all his life, and we threw him in there. And I think the first year, 3 years ago, first year, I don't know, he got 3rd or 4th, or he did okay. Never driven a boat before like that in his life, and started doing pretty good. And then the following year, we just kept talking to him, and Bill would say, look, you got this speed limit. This boat can go 120 here. So you just hold the plate down the straightaway, keep it at 102 or 3. When you get to that turn, floor it, because you can't go 100 around the turn. And he finally learned how to do that. And the following year, he won.
Oh, nice.
He won his 2nd race ever. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then just this last year, he got 2nd overall. He had to race Tyler Roth, Duff, Daily. He was the next guy to them. And only being able to race it once a year, it doesn't give him enough seat time to keep fresh. But, Casey's a great kid. But great driver, obviously in the blood, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's cool. Very cool.
It's a family thing. They just go there and have fun. And all the grandkids, I don't know how many grandkids they got, like 15 or something running around there. Faulkner's running around,
So they got drivers for days, right?
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good stuff.
Well, hey, cool. Glad you're still going with it, and glad we get to see if at least on the other side of the pits doing this for a while. And
it's a lot of racing. Like I said, a lot of racing. From motorcycles to sprint cars to go-karts, boats.
Yeah.
Boats I got my first boat in 1974.
Wow.
My dad bought that boat before he got killed in 74.
Wow.
And actually, not funny story, but when my dad got killed in Utah Lake, it was the Nationals. I was staying at my wife's house playing with her brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 14, 24, almost 20 years later, we ended up getting married.
Oh my gosh. Small world.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And you're gonna drive the Enduro again? Have they asked you yet, or?
If Randy races, I will drive the Enduro.
Okay.
In fact, I was going to talk to him this weekend, but I'm not. I'll probably go down there for a little bit, but I got to get back to Pfaff's and get my K engine fixed. But if he races, he always asks me,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do it again. It's fun.
Well, is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Can't think of anything else.
Well, hey, I really appreciate it, man. And I've had so many, I told Katie, I've had so many people ask me when I'm going to have you on. So it's going to be
No problem.
a good one with a lot of people. So you're royalty in this industry, man. So
Everybody has their day and time. Mine was from about 88 to 95.
what are you talking about? It's still going, man.
Yeah, it's fun. I
Yeah.
love racing.
Yeah. Well, very
like
cool.
I said, some people got it and some people don't. Like my brother-in-law, Lance, we were at Firebird one day and he goes, how do you go around that turn so fast? And we just keep that throttle on the floor, Lance, just bury that plate and you'll make it right around. So he had the inside. I was right next to him. Sure enough, we come around the turn. I look over, he's side by side, and I go, I ain't telling him nothing no more.
Why'd you do that?
But it's just little things, people don't. I don't know if they're afraid to ask or what. I can watch people and come over and tell them, it's just like when the water's real rough, you're coming down for the start and the water's always going to be rough. If you're just pushing that down pedal a quarter inch, 3/4 of an inch, it takes the boat from attitude like this and moves it up like this. And you can stay in the power, lets you drive over the top of everything. You're not hitting it and balancing and going like this. And you got to get on throttle, slow down. It's just stuff you learn and try and teach people. And, it's fun.
Yeah. But that's something, I mean, just a bunch of seat time for you to get that kind of feel, time. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. When I first started driving for Richard in 89, we built that super stock. And in 1989, because we had races at Pudding Stone, Lake Castaic, the river, Bakersfield, I ran 76 heats in 1 year.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, 13K races.
Wow.
So that's 13 with 4 or 5 heats, every race.
Wow.
So that's a lot of racing.
Dude, in K-boat, in K-boat years, you're like 110.
Probably. That means Duff's about 350.
Oh, I know. I did an article on him a couple of years ago for magazine, and I started doing research, and I'm like, I've told this, I probably should, but anyhow, old guy told the story again, but I called up, I don't know if you know Mike King. I'm like, hey, Mike. Yeah. I go, Mike, was Duff Daily, was his dad named Duff Daily too? And he goes, no, that was Dell. I go, wait, so that's the same guy that's been racing since I was like 15 years old? He's like, yeah. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, I think he was racing when he was like 12 or someone, lied about his age.
Yeah. So
Mike King for all the ski racing guys and stuff.
Yeah, you probably did a lot of motors for his stuff, right? When he was,
like I said, I did Buckles Randy's, I did John Cole's, did some stuff for Scott Wynn a little bit, but yeah, a bunch of turbo stuff for those guys.
Oh yeah, that was the thing with those guys. So
Randy took me to Belgium, New England, and Switzerland for the Worlds.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, like I said, I've been lucky to be able to be around great people and travel and do the boat racing and ski racing and all that kind of stuff. It's been fun.
I've told some other guys this too. Like with what you do, you can't fake it, right? And you're building stuff that guys are going out. I mean, they're not trying to break them, but they're trying to break them, right? Like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
Cory.
Yeah,
you're in trouble, Cory. I'm telling you right now.
But so I mean,
we also build off-road engines.
Yeah.
We got we built one for Ricky Johnson. We built it was a Ford, injected Ford, but actually just rebuilt what Leon Patton had, but we rebuilt in new parts and stuff in it. We got 3rd overall in the Baja 1000, and then we won Vegas Reno with Rick Johnson with the Pfaff engine. We've been all over the map.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of sprint car stuff back in the day with the Knopfsingers and Ed Ollier. I did some motors for him for a while. He ended up building his own shop and doing his thing. We kind of moved over the boats. But at one time, Bart Knopfsinger set the fastest, quickest time at Ascot with the Pfaff engine. So 19 point something back then.
Off-road engine, that's another one that just abused, right?
It's abuse. You got that right.
Yeah. So again, you can't fake that stuff. You've been doing something right. So that's why you get free trips to Belgium or whatever, right?
My good buddy Greg Foster raced off-road for a while, him and his dad actually, and his dad would come back and go, I don't know why we do this. It's like driving down the road and throwing $100 bills out the window. Good thing you got those $100 bills because
that's right.
It's expensive.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, cool. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it. And you know what? Keep notes. Maybe we'll do it again someday. So,
Problem.
All right. Hopefully I get to see it at one of the races.
No problem. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Powerboat Talk. If you like what you've heard, please head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. For more Powerboat Talk, follow us on Facebook or Instagram, or visit our website at powerboattalk.com.